What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend, but we're back at it, and it's a big week because it's training camp week across the NFL as several teams, the majority of the teams, will be in training camp in the middle of this week, including the Tennessee Titans, where tomorrow around 11:30, Mike Vrabel will give his opening training camp press conference for the media. And then Wednesday, Zach, is the first training camp practice of the 2021 season. A to Z Sports will have great coverage of Titans training camp, whether it's in Nashville or in Tampa. We're going to have a lot of fun with training camp practice, but a couple news stories about some big name quarterbacks have continued to develop as of this morning, where Deshaun Watson actually showed up to the Texans facility yesterday. Aaron Rodgers has more developments to his happiness in Green Bay and what's going to happen with a potential contract offer. But we're going to start with Deshaun Watson and how the latest Deshaun Watson news affects the Titans defending their AFC South title. We'll ask you guys a percentage chance that Deshaun Watson will actually play football this season. We have updates on that situation and where the Texans would rank in the AFC South with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Then we'll move on from Aaron Rodgers. We think Aaron Rodgers has three outcomes for what's going to happen this season. And it is Monday, Zach, so we have bad sales job. I got back in the win column last week. Now we'll see if where it goes from here, as we have a 10-12-2 record where Zach has 2 games ahead of me in the bad sales job segments on Mondays. Hope you had a good weekend, Zach. Welcome back in.
Yeah, happy Monday to everybody else. We're going to get our week started off right with some NFL football talk. And as Austin said, it is training camp week. So we're getting closer and closer to the regular season, which is always good. Before we get going, though, please share the show. We are broadcasting live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and on Facebook. If you're watching on Twitter, please retweet the broadcast. We need to pop up in your Twitter followers timeline. That would help us out a great deal. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, A to Z Sports, type that bad boy in, search, and then subscribe. It's that simple. And on Facebook, more people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. As you guys do, please share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, as we say on this show on this Monday. So share around, and let's get this party started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on all the social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for our show, and they help out you guys. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the area at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, the pulse of fitness, where one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout is free. Don't forget Wilson County Hyundai. If you need a new ride, head out to Lebanon at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. You've also got Calvin and Subtle for your brand new hardwood floors and finishings. They are at calvinandsubtle.com. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. So we've been following, Zach, the Deshaun Watson saga for it's been a long offseason for Deshaun Watson, because at first he was demanding a trade that he would never go back and play again for the Houston Texans. Then as many as 22 civil lawsuits are filed against him for sexual assault, alleged sexual assault, with massage salons across the country with as many as 40 different massage therapists. So bad news for Deshaun Watson. At one point, we thought he was untradeable. He was still wanting to be traded, not playing for the Texans. And then he showed up yesterday when the Texans players were supposed to report for training camp. And the reason why, Zach, he showed up is to avoid a $50,000 per day fine. Because of the new CBA that came a couple years ago with the NFL, players, it's really difficult and really expensive for them to hold out. So Deshaun Watson shows up, and now we get to talk again about what might happen with a trade. And here's Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network this morning.
Yeah, a new development in the situation surrounding Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. According to colleague Tom Pelissero and myself, the Texans are now willing to listen to trade offers for Deshaun Watson. And this has been very quietly going on for some time, but it is now, I would say, a little more out in the open. And the fact that the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson did have a meeting yesterday, he was, as Pelissero notes, very respectful but clear that he does want to be traded and has no plans to play in Houston. The team is now willing to at least receive and return phone calls to discuss a potential mega deal involving Watson. So, guys, what would it take? It would take 3 first-round picks and more, which, of course, you're talking about a star quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, the off-the-field issues, but a star quarterback in the NFL in his prime could play 12 or 15 more years. The price is high. It should be high, and now we will see where the Deshaun Watson saga goes from here.
So Ian Rappaport this morning, just like an hour ago on the NFL Network, I don't think Deshaun Watson has 15 more years in it. I don't know if he's going to be playing until he is 40 based on the style of quarterback that he's plays. But Deshaun Watson, very good, very talented at playing quarterback in the NFL. But just the dark cloud of these lawsuits, these civil suits hanging over his head, Zach, these are not going to go to court until 2022, which makes things very difficult. So he doesn't want to play for the Texans. He will show up to not get fined, the Marshawn Lynch way of things. But how do you feel about this situation now that he is in training camp right now?
Well, it's a bad situation, right? And Deshaun Watson, whether he brought some of this on himself, talking about the legal issues of the accusations, or the timing of him requesting a trade. And I think the problem is the price, right? Is no team is going to give up 3 first-round picks, big futures, to have a question mark if Deshaun Watson is either going to be on their team. That's just not smart, especially, and we'll talk more about this about Aaron Rodgers, about the timing of where we are in the calendar, because that matters. We're sitting here at the end of July, about to go into August, about to go into training camp, and a lot of teams, just like businesses, they prepare. They're in preparation for training camp. Now, you can do a last-second deal with Jadeveon Clowney. You can sign, Ingram from the Chargers. But as far as a quarterback is concerned, at that level, at that ilk, I think that is too hard to pull off for what Deshaun Watson. I thought the most telling thing that Ian Rappaport said is that Deshaun Watson doesn't expect to play in Houston, right? Like his mindset is that he is going to get traded. That is, I don't know whether that's like maneuvering or just completely like blind to the situation.
Yeah. It's just the most confusing thing to me is how does the NFL view these civil lawsuits against him? Are they going to put him on the commissioner's exempt list? Because if I'm the Houston Texans, I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that he is put on the exempt list, so I don't have to pay him or I don't have to deal with him on the field or off the field or any trade communication right now. That's what I would want. But the NFL has not made up their mind. There's still so many different nuances that are going on with these 22 different civil lawsuits against Deshaun Watson that the NFL is putting the Texans in a bad situation because he's there, but he doesn't want to play. And now they're going to ask 3 first-round draft picks, but I don't know who at this point in the calendar needs a quarterback and is willing to give up that many draft picks for a quarterback, Zach. I don't really know what the heck's going to happen with this, but Deshaun Watson, he's a great football player. He changes a lot of what the AFC South can look like. He could steal a game by himself. We've seen him do it over the last several years. And so on the field, I think a lot of us, when talking about the Titans and their expectations this year, have been talking like Deshaun Watson wasn't going to exist. And now all of a sudden he might because he's there.
Well, and you said it. I mean, last year, he damn near almost stole both games against the Titans. Do you remember? I mean, it went to overtime in Tennessee early on in the season, and then the last game of the year in Houston took overtime again, right, at the end for A.J. Brown, or I guess it was at the end of regulation, of A.J. Brown catching that pass to set the Titans up to kick a game-winning field goal, and Derrick Henry being a king back, right? So he has that ability to steal games. You're absolutely correct. I think I agree with Danny, and Danny, I think I think shares the sentiment of a lot of us. I have mixed feelings about this situation. Like you have the accusations are warranted, right? I mean, there's a lot of them. I think that also is telling to me is there's a lot of women accusing him of doing things as far as in the massage parlor or whatever, right? So the number of those, that kind of makes me think that something maybe has happened. Now, I don't know what that is. And then you have the demand of the trade where he's unhappy in Houston because God knows everybody's unhappy in Houston. You know, DeAndre Hopkins got traded away. He was his best player. J.J. Watt's no longer there. They're a shell of themselves, right? And then you have the Texans stance that has all of the power saying, oh, well, we're gonna put an unrealistic deal out there knowing that nobody's probably going to take it. And then the last thing, as you mentioned, Austin, as Ian Rappaport mentioned, you have the exempt list, which can kind of make this thing settle in. It doesn't hurt the Texans. I think the Texans were prepared to not have Deshaun Watson as their quarterback going into the season. But what it also does, it sets Deshaun Watson down to deal with his legal problems before he gets into the league. And that, I don't know, that probably makes the most sense.
Right.
But I don't know what the NFL is going to do.
Right. The NFL's has not done anything yet. And you would think the NFL would want to put its team in a situation that they understand what's going to happen, but they're leaving the Texans in the dark. And Jason says the Texans have that I don't want to sell it price because here's the Texans situation. I agree with Michael Bishop. They missed their window. Nobody's going to touch Deshaun Watson at this point until something is settled with the accusations and the civil lawsuits. That won't happen until next calendar year is when that is the timeline for that to happen. But I feel like the Texans know they only have one opportunity to trade away Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is a franchise quarterback if all things are settled off the field. You don't want to screw away this chance to trade a franchise quarterback and not get as much out of it as possible. So the Texans have to ask that price, and maybe somebody does get desperate. I just think that the time for desperation, you're going to have to bank on a quarterback that has a pretty big name getting hurt in the next 2 to 3 weeks when they're not allowed to be touched in the next 2 to 3 weeks in training camp. So you're going to have to hope the Texans, for the Texans' sake, is hope a starting quarterback has a non-contact injury in training camp, and that team says, well, the rest of the team is ready to go win. We need a quarterback that's going to be able to replace the guy we just lost, and they're going to have to go out there and trade 3 first-round draft picks to get Deshaun Watson. But
I don't think anybody would get that desperate.
No, because I highly doubt a non-contact injury happens to a quarterback in the first 3 weeks of training camp.
Well, even that, but I don't even think a team, if that did happen, would get that desperate to trade away the future of their franchise for an unknown commodity.
It depends on the team, obviously. So we have to figure out, every situation has its own.
3 first-round picks, Austin. Again, you don't know if he's going to play.
We can, if it's Denver,
you don't know if he's going to play.
Why don't you know if he's going to play? He can, I think if he gets traded.
Why don't you know? Because if he gets traded, he puts on the exempt list, you're screwed.
I don't think the NFL would do that. I don't think the NFL would put him on the exempt list after a trade.
So they would probably then deny the trade.
Who would deny the trade?
The NFL, if they're going to put him on the exempt list.
I don't know. That's the whole thing about this. So let's get to our question, because there's a lot of conversation about what's going to happen and what could happen. Let's just ask this question. What percentage chance does Deshaun Watson actually play football this season? For anybody. It could be the Texans. It could be the Seahawks. It could be the Panthers. I don't know. What percentage chance do you think Deshaun Watson actually plays football this season? But first, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, where one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. How is that even possible? It's full body electronic muscle stimulation. That is where to go to achieve your fitness goals. EMS, what it does is it gets all of the attention on your muscles and zero of that pressure on your joints, so you can get a great workout, build functional strength, target that hard to burn body fat, and don't hurt your body in the long term. So Mandu.com, it is for anybody, whether you're young, you're old, you're in shape, you're out of shape, you're a washed up athlete with a bunch of injuries or not. Mandu.com, your first workout is free.
A to Z Sports. Don't forget, we are powered by BetMGM. Football season's right around the corner. They're going to have unbelievable opportunity to make a lot of money this season. Use promo code ATOZ Sports. And for new users, risk-free $600 bet. You can't beat that. Promo code ATOZ Sports. Download the app today.
All right, so we're asking the question this morning, what percentage chance do you think Deshaun Watson actually plays football this season? What percentage chance does he play football? And if you know anything about our show, I don't want to see any 50% out there. And it's really hard to say 100%, like David's saying. 100% chance he plays?
Well, he believes that.
Then Scott right there with 50%. Get off the fence, Scott. You got to go one way or the other. Sheila says 40. Tighten Up Ohio says 70%. Steven riding the fence at 50%. Skill Will is at 30. Callie Titan at 50-50. Too many fence riders this morning. Guy says 10% chance. Rob at 5. Nate at 20. Stanley and Tori both pretty high at 70 and 80%. Big Ten Jeff says, I say 45% because 50-50 because of that deal. John says 25%. Alex at 6%, pretty low. Lane, 15%. Maven Cole at 38%. We got 25% from Justin, 12% from Christopher, 20 from Christine, 40 from Jabu, 75% from Dom. This case could last years. I mean, that Dom's got a good point that if the case just continues to go on and on and on and on, he can play football until things get figured out. Because he is Deshaun Watson, he's a quarterback. He's a damn good quarterback, and people will make exceptions for that.
Yeah, no, I think for Deshaun Watson, a lot of this is out of his hands, right? I mean, because it's going to be up to public perception matters, NFL perception matters, and if he doesn't want to play for the Texans, other team perception matters. Because you also have to realize, and I don't think this is going to happen, he has too much baggage, right? I mean, we all know people that have a lot of baggage. He has a lot of baggage right now. Mm-hmm. And that is not when you want to make some movement in your career in this particular industry. And I think another team's fan base, they would be happy to have Deshaun Watson as the quarterback, but there also comes with some backlash of possibly sacrificing 5 top-round picks, because that is the report. We talk about 3, but they want so much that, like, also you put yourself in those shoes. If I had a favorite football team that was thinking about trading for Deshaun Watson for all of that, I don't think I would be happy.
Yeah, Chris Morton said his report was a combination of 5 high draft picks and starting caliber players per 2 league executives. So
no fan of any team, even desperate for a quarterback, the Broncos, I don't think that they would want to give that up for the question mark of a judge deciding your future in 2022.
Yeah. So here's how much money could Deshaun here's how I get into this, because we asked this question earlier in the offseason, and we actually flipped it. We asked what percentage chance does Deshaun Watson not play? And so I said 75% he would not play, meaning 25% he will play. So that's where I was earlier in the summer. I am at 45% chance right now that he will play. I think him showing up to camp to avoid $50,000 fines every day that he would miss.
He can't afford it.
Well,
he's about to get raked over the coals in legal fees
or
settlements.
Very fair. And so also, I'm reading this report from Pro Football Talk from February. So things have changed a little bit. That Deshaun Watson could lose up to $20.2 million if he sits out the 2021 season. So 3.5 of this would have been fines for the offseason, training camp, and preseason. So he's already missed the offseason, which is the smallest base of fine. But if he sits out this preseason, the season, he has a base salary of $10.5 million. And then he'd lose another 1.8 if he sits out the preseason games. So he's getting real close to losing a lot of money. And if he sits out the entire season, there's $5.5 million in signing bonus that he would have to return. So we're talking about Deshaun Watson having to return $5 million plus to the Texans that he already has, and then lose out on earning another $13 million.
Yeah, he's not doing that. Okay. He is in.
That's why I'm up to 45% chance he'll play. I do think the reason why it's under 50% chance that he'll play is because of the commissioner's exempt list, and him saying he's not going to play for the Texans, and I don't think another team is going to trade for him.
So I think here's what I think is going to happen. No team is going to trade for him. All right. And because of his legal issues and all the things that you just said, he's not going to sit out this season. So what is he going to do? He's going to buckle up, pull his pants up. And he's going to play for the Houston Texans.
Wrong analogy for this.
That's what he's going to do. Yeah, fair. He's going to settle in and play for the Houston Texans. That's what he's going to do.
So what's your percentage? I'm at 45% chance.
I think there's a 60% chance that he plays for the Houston Texans, and I think there's a 40% chance that the NFL puts him on the exempt list. I think those are the only two percentages.
0% chance he trades.
Yeah, I say 0% chance he trades, and I say 0% chance he sits out. He has no leverage. There are two ways of going about this. He either plays and makes as much money and figures out his legal problems in next season, in the off season, when the actual trial and all of that goes on, or he sits there and plays, or the NFL says you can't play. That's the situation.
So Titans Flash says NFL will step in and put him on the exempt list. There's been no reason to do it. So until now, Rob says his leverage is that he didn't do it. Travis says we agree, Zach. Well, Travis at least agrees. I don't know if everybody agrees, like Travis says. Derickler says 80% he doesn't play. He's at 20% that he will play. Let's see more comments that I want to read here from you guys. Danny says, as good as the player is, I feel any deal needs to favor the team he's going to based off uncertainty. So like who are the teams that could actually trade for him? Who actually needs the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, the most?
And that's the problem. Everybody's already settled in. And the Broncos, we'll talk about the Broncos, which probably have one of the biggest question marks, them and the Washington football team. I look at those two competitive teams, and they don't have quarterbacks to get them to win a Super Bowl. They don't. But Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers, let's just take away everything. I think if you placed Aaron Rodgers on the Washington football team, I think they have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. Hell, I would say even the Denver Broncos would make –
which is why the Packers will probably not trade him to the Washington.
Correct. But I think if you place those two, let's just face it, Deshaun Watson can play at an elite level. He's a young elite quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. But those are the only two teams that are probably like ready. The Dolphins are interesting, but I don't think anybody wants to trade for Tua. So it comes down to leverage.
If you're the Texans, would you not take Tua in a swap with Deshaun Watson? He's a rookie contract quarterback who's cheap.
Yeah, Miami is trying to clean their act up. Miami, they had been in disarray for quite some time, and once they hired their new general manager in Brian Flores, they have done an outstanding job of flipping that roster to good football players. And I don't think that takes a step back. That goes against everything that they've been trying to do over the last 3 years.
All right, so who could trade for Deshaun Watson? Brooks says the Washington football team. Cards, Titans, Grizz says the Eagles and Dolphins. We'll come back to the Eagles because several of you guys said that. Shrike says the Broncos. G-Man says the Denver's the best suitor. Mikey says most are linking Philly to Deshaun Watson. Corey says the Dolphins can put together a deal. The thing with the Dolphins is they still have a bunch of draft picks, so they could probably do that. Brooke there with the Washington football team. The Eagles are getting a lot of picks. And I did see somebody say the New Orleans Saints. Rob says the Saints could potentially do that. Devin says the Falcons. There's no way in hell the Atlanta Falcons trade for Deshaun Watson because they're paying Matt Ryan ungodly amounts of dollars right now to be their quarterback.
Guys, the Texans are going to hold on to him because the only guy they have that sells tickets is Deshaun Watson. He's the only commodity that they currently have on their football team that is known by their fan base to go spend money to sit in that stadium and watch the Texans play. The Texans want Deshaun Watson. They want 3 first-round picks, but they're not going to get that. So the second best thing is, you brought that up earlier. If they want to save the money, they really are kind of rooting for that exemption list. But I think in the Houston Texans' eyes is they at least get Watson for one season. They're not going to be very good. They'll have another high first-round draft pick moving forward and try to redraft a quarterback.
All right,
based on what happens legally with Deshaun Watson and all of these accusations that he's trying to fight.
So what does this mean for the Titans? Because I'm at 45% chance that he plays this season. Zach's at 60. I think we're both aligned that the team he's going to play for most likely is the Houston Texans. If he's going to play, we think he's going to be playing for the Texans.
But you say that there's 55% chance that he won't play.
That he won't play at all, which
So you're more saying that he won't play.
I think the commissioner's exempt list is a big chunk of this, and I do think there's a small percentage chance that Deshaun Watson does sit out if he can't get traded. It's small.
He can't afford it.
No, I got it. I just
You
went through the dollars.
I was like,
I went through the dollars. If Deshaun Watson sits out the entire season, he's going to have to pay back $5.4 million that he already has from his signing bonus. Then he's going to have to lose out on around $13 million that he would earn.
There's no way in hell he does that.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to this question. If Deshaun Watson is playing for the Houston Texans, where do the Texans rank in the AFC South? So let's talk about this, Zach, but first let's get to you about Calvin and Subtle.
Yeah, Calvin and Subtle is where you need to get your new hardwood floors, 615-448-6414 or online at calvinandsubtle.com. That's calvinandsubtle.com. They've got you covered. Once you pick out your perfect hardwood floor, 1 to 2 weeks, that's all it takes for them to order the material and install in your house. But that house will all of a sudden turn into a home because that thing will feel unbelievable. And they have all different kinds of hardwood floors, from luxury to cost-efficient hardwood floors. 615-448-6414 or online at calvinandsubtle.com.
A to Z Sports, don't forget, download the BetMGM app today. Use a risk-free bet, or use our code ATOZ Sports to get a risk-free bet up to $600 with your first deposit and your first bet. There's a lot of opportunities to get in right now before the football season gets going. That's BetMGM, promo code ATOZ Sports. When you sign up, visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older, must be present in Tennessee, and for gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. The question is, where do the Texans rank in the AFC South with Deshaun Watson at quarterback? Zach, I'll send you to the comment section to see what the people are saying.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting because it's, really third or fourth. That's kind of your option. I don't think anybody has them.
I've seen a couple. I've seen at least one person who said differently.
Okay, Gmail and Bez says fourth. Corey says third. Jeff says fourth. Last, no matter what he does, from Aaron. They're still last, even with Watson, from Dom. They might be worse than the Jags without him. Otis says third. Even with Deshaun, I think the Jags have a better record. Let's see. Still last from Brooke. With third, without fourth from Jacob. Last from Tori. Texans will rank third in front of the Jags. If he plays, it will still be third. Last from Kevin. Let's see here. With Deshaun third place in the South. So
I'm waiting to see if you got to the one. Skill Will on YouTube. Second behind the Titans. You can't count out his athleticism. So Skill Will thinks the Texans would jump to ahead of the Colts. Now, maybe Skill Will thinks the worst of Carson Wentz, and I don't know Skill Will's opinion, right? Because all of that matters. Your opinion on all the other teams go into this equation here. I don't think it's second. I think the Texans roster is in disarray.
Second.
I do think the thing with Deshaun Watson and why the Titans have to be curious about this, Deshaun Watson is good enough to win a game on a Sunday by himself. One or two times a year. 1 or 2 times a year, he can do something that makes you just go, damn it.
But does that jump you in the AFC South over
the whole season? Not really. They're probably third or fourth. But again, like if you're the Tennessee Titans, you don't want to play Deshaun Watson twice. You'd rather him be elsewhere or not on your schedule or sitting on the exempt list the whole year. So you don't have to worry about those 2 games. Derrick Henry can have 200 yards rushing in each of them, and you win. We have been counting the 2 games against the Texans as wins all offseason because we didn't think Deshaun Watson was going to be in the equation. But now he kind of is. And I think that is a little scary because of how good he is and how he's been able to do things against the Titans as well.
So where do you have them?
I have them 4th.
You don't answer. You never answer.
I said 3rd or 4th, but then
that doesn't answer a damn thing, Austin.
I answered the question. I have them.
No, you
4th.
didn't.
I have them 4th. There's my answer, Zach. It came later than your.
It wouldn't have come if I didn't ask you.
Okay, but I have them 4th. I still think, but he can still beat the Titans. That's my entire thing. They're the worst team in the division, but Deshaun Watson can beat the Titans once if they let him.
We got him, fence rider, riding the fence.
I'm not fence riding.
You were calling out people. Terrence on the fence.
How am I on the fence
again from Scott getting destroyed here on a Monday?
Don't do this to Zach.
You tried to do this to them. Now they're shoving it back in your face.
I did not.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
I answered the question how I wanted to answer the question. He's 4th. Or the Texans are dead last in the division, but Deshaun Watson can beat the Titans on a Sunday if they're not careful.
So the answer to this question is 4th, and I think it's because of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, will make the Jags 3rd, and the Texans don't have enough as a team. I think the Jags' team is better than the Houston Texans, and that's when it comes to I would bet on the experiment of Urban Meyer and what Jacksonville's trying to do than the unknown if Deshaun Watson actually plays. Because who's he going to – we don't honestly know how long he would play. Maybe in the middle of the season, something else comes out and he gets puts on the exempt
obviously,
list.
Yes.
So I think I think it goes – you obviously have Colts, Titans 1 and 2. In whatever order you particularly think. But those are the top 2 teams in the AFC South vying for the title.
I think there's a separation between the Titans and the Colts, but that's a difference.
I think the Titans are above the Colts as well, but I don't think it's Carson Wentz. We always say, right? My opinion on Carson Wentz. He's gonna play. Deshaun Watson, we don't know if he's gonna play.
Right, but we're asking this question on the basis that he will play. Right? That's how we are setting up this conversation.
Yes. And the Texans don't have enough around Deshaun Watson. He has nobody to throw to. Will Fuller, where's Will Fuller?
Miami.
Not even there anymore, right?
Yeah. Kenny Stills is also gone.
Who does he have to throw to?
Brandon Cooks. Didn't they just traded for Anthony Miller from the Bears? So there's 2.
Defensively.
He's going to have to throw for 5,000 yards for them.
And that's not going to happen. So that's why they're still 4th. It's not really Deshaun Watson. It's the team around Deshaun Watson. This is a team effort. That's why there's 53 men on the roster, right? So you got to have a lot of guys playing good football.
Yes,
he doesn't have enough.
Deshaun Watson, and Terrence says in 10 running backs, Deshaun Watson can have Daniel Fells that nobody knows of have a career day against the Titans defense because of Deshaun Watson, right? That's what Deshaun Watson can do. So yes, they're 4th. They will have the worst record in the division with or without Deshaun Watson. But you can't just, put that W down next to the Texans twice in ink pen if Deshaun Watson's playing.
Do the Texans have a 2022 draft pick? They traded away so many damn draft picks. That's what I'm going to try to look up. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they're back. They're back in the picks.
So that's the biggest thing for the Texans is, to be honest, Austin, if I'm the Houston Texans, I want to lose all the games and I want to pick first in the 2022 draft because I'm going to know a lot more about Deshaun Watson's legal issues. And I'm going to have the first possible overall pick to restart my franchise and kind of reset. So the Texans are going to be down for the next at least 4 to 5 years because of what the situation is.
Yeah.
And let's say Deshaun Watson gets cleared of all of his charges. You have a number one overall pick or top 3 pick, and you go out and you draft your next, Chase Young or Jadeveon Clowney or defensive player to get after the quarterback and reset and start your franchise again.
Yeah, Jeff says, what QB's out there for 2022? Yeah, new Houston Texans starting quarterback JT Daniels. Come on down. like who's the college quarterback that everybody's
somebody will rise.
Somebody will. Like a few years ago, that somebody was Mitch Trubisky, right? Like, so that somebody's not always good.
A couple of years ago, Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
So right, and then it goes both ways.
Of course, Zach Wilson, right? Like, there's always somebody that comes out of thin air and surprises and is that top quarterback.
But I'd rather have the opportunity to pick that guy, right? And the Texans over the last couple of years haven't had that opportunity because they haven't had a first-round draft pick.
Sam Howell from North Carolina is getting a lot of play, and you got the kid from Oklahoma who's played like 8 games.
Your boy Tate Martell transferred again.
Where is he at now?
UNLV.
Really? So he went back home.
Went back home
to mommy and
daddy.
Back
home to mommy.
Yeah. Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, right? Like the Rattler in Texas. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Why the hell not? But okay, so we still think the Texans suck. Rob says, I don't understand Austin's love fest with the Texans being able to beat the Titans. I'm not talking about the Texans or a love fest. I'm just saying Deshaun Watson is good enough to steal a game any week. That's the point, is that he will make that game difficult. He did it twice last year, guys. Rob, twice. The Texans.
He lost both of them.
Right, but he took it to overtime and needed a double doink from Sam Sloman. That's my point.
They still lost the game.
Right, but he made you tight butthole that game all the way through the end.
But they still lost.
I understand that. But my point is...
So could and did is different because they didn't.
Whatever. You understand the point that I'm making. That Deshaun Watson is better than Carson Wentz, and he's probably better right now than Trevor Lawrence is at this exact moment as an NFL quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence, just be very aware.
How about this? Thank you, Derickler. Derickler brings us up. Same with the Texans-Colts games. If Deshaun Watson plays, they can beat the Colts. And I think you would want the Colts to lose a game like that, the Houston Texans, if they're going to be battling for that AFC South. So thank you, Derickler. That's a good point. It doesn't just involve the Titans. Deshaun Watson could absolutely beat the Colts on one weekend.
Week 6, that's when the Colts play at home against Houston. That's their first matchup. And then they don't play them. They play them again in week 13.
Yeah, so week 6, that's enough time for Carson Wentz to get hurt. All right, A to Z Sports. Let's get to our next topic because Aaron Rodgers wants a bunch of money. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have 3 outcomes for this season. We'll go through them all. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone & Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever that injury happens in life, you need to make sure you know who to go to, who to trust. That's the Bone & Joint Institute. Actually, my grandparents, I was talking with them over the weekend. They're going to the Bone & Joint Institute because it's simple. It's a simple system. You call the office. They do everything under that one roof, so there's no sending you all over around town. It's simplified, streamlined to get you back healthy. boneandjointtn.org.
And Terrence brings this up. This is good. Deshaun did do that last year against the Colts. That came down
to the wire.
Last play.
Right. And then he fumbled, right? Then he screwed it up.
Right.
But again, he can do that. And if he beats the Colts, that helps the Titans.
It absolutely does. Download the BetMGM app. They power this morning show. Code ATOZ gives you a risk-free $600 bet for new users. Download the app today in the App Store.
All right, so 3 outcomes for the Green Bay Packers in this Aaron Rodgers saga. And there's the latest on this one, too, as it's getting training camp time. Here's the latest report from Pro Football Talk about Aaron Rodgers. So the Packers offered Aaron Rodgers a 5-year contract extension at some point this offseason that would have made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. But what that 5-year contract offer was still allowed the Packers to have year-to-year flexibility to either trade or cut Aaron Rodgers after the 2022 season. So here's what Aaron Rodgers came out with the Packers from Pro Football Talk. This was from this morning. At least one team that has or has had interest in Aaron Rodgers believes that Rodgers wants $90 million fully guaranteed over the next 2 years. That's the kind of money that would not allow the Packers to have that year-to-year flexibility and that they would have to keep him. So that is the important part here, is that Aaron Rodgers wants the Packers to be forced to commit to him, because with the drafting of Jordan Love a couple years ago, his contract was they could just say they could cut bait with Aaron at any point and move away. Now Aaron wants this $90 million over 2 years, to where if the Packers cut him, they are screwing them their cap situation.
So I look at this as and I will take an analogy because I think we've all seen this in some circumstance, whether it's in the movies or whatever. But this is the prototypical. You brought up Jordan Love. It's like two people in a relationship and one person cheats on that person, but they try to stay together. They're just holding a grudge. Aaron Rodgers is just holding a grudge against the relationship he is in because his significant other cheated on one night stand, and he will not relinquish. He'll start demanding things and bringing it up constantly reminding that person, that being the Packers, about how bad they treated him, how I won an MVP just last year. I've taken your ass to the NFC Championship games 2 straight years in a row, and you still draft, whether it was a quarterback a couple of years ago or won't draft a wide receiver in the first round. And they just bitching. But they're not going to leave each other because there's no easy exit. And that's what these two sides are trying to do. There is not a simple exit. It will come down, I think, in my opinion, we'll ask this question, but it will come down to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers does have some of the power because I think he's willing to play for the Packers. He's just going to be this disgruntled person in the relationship.
He was that last year.
And it will continue to be.
Well, and it pissed him off enough to go win the MVP.
And he'll do it again. But this year he'll be even more disgruntled. Well,
and here's the thing. Dom says you can't be mad at her for cheating if you go back to her. Well, you can't be mad if the Packers are doing what the Packers drafted Jordan Love without telling Aaron Rodgers they were going to draft another quarterback.
It was a one-night stand.
But you cannot be mad. I don't think you can be mad at Aaron Rodgers for this. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers, because of how the Packers had his contract structured, they wanted to have the easy out. They wanted to draft the quarterback, have him sit for 2 years, and then be able to cut or trade Aaron Rodgers with friendly cap situation and move on. Why does Aaron Rodgers know this? Because he watched it happen with Brett Favre.
And that's the problem. So it is the Packers' fault for the way that they have handled this initially. But Aaron Rodgers basically said, okay, you want to play hardball? I am going to make your life miserable. I am going to make everybody look at the Packers organization and look down upon them when forever the Packers have been a well-run organization, right? Now, that is not how the public perceives them. Here's my issue, though. I do have one issue. This is Aaron Rodgers' fault because Aaron Rodgers early on did not come out and say, I want to go to 3 teams. These are the 3 teams that I want to go to. You make that happen, and I'll get out of your hair. Get as much as you want out of those 3 teams, but those are my destinations. Instead, Aaron Rodgers was just kind of messing with them, just keep pushing them. And now we've come down to it's the end of July and training camp's about to start. The Packers can only do so much. Teams have already been preparing for the season. They don't all need quarterbacks. So he kind of played himself in the way that he played this. That's my main thing with Aaron Rodgers. He should have done this and gone about this differently. But as they say, a woman scorned, right? Like, he's pissed off. And he's going to continue to be pissed off until he no longer has to deal with the Packers.
Yeah, and so Jeff says it's Rodgers' fault for accepting that contract structure. Well, that contract structure had him paid like $84 million in the first 8 months after he signed it. So he got a lot of his money up front, which allowed for that back end flexibility on the Packers side of things. I did see a comment that I wanted to bring up because somebody mentioned about, Sheila says, no player is bigger than the game. Even the greats got traded. LOL diva. Well, now the Packers are in a situation where Aaron Rodgers is unhappy, and now Devontae Adams has gone public, and he has said that he has broken off contract talks with the organization. Because why would Devontae Adams, who's the best wide receiver in the NFL at the exact moment, why would he want to re-up with the Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers? And so now the Packers are sitting here as August approach. Crap, the two best players are really angry at us. And oh yeah, there's a shareholders meeting this morning. So now they have to explain themselves to everybody, to the whole city of Green Bay.
Yeah, you don't want to be on a team that all of a sudden you had Tom Brady and you're a wide receiver, and then all of a sudden Cam Newton's throwing you the football, right? You don't want to wake up and not have one of the greatest quarterbacks on your team. It's smart from Devontae Adams to break off talks because his value is great. We don't see that enough, and I think we will because we see that more in the NBA, is guys letting their contracts run out and then really getting the money at this point in their career, right? When Julio Jones was the best wide receiver in the game, he re-signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Like, that's just usually what happens. But in this situation, Adams without Rodgers, Austin, I don't think you say he's the best wide receiver in football.
Well, no, probably not. But Aaron Jones has to be feeling so lost right now because Greg brings that up because Aaron Jones just re-signed with the Packers this offseason. So let's get to this. We both think, Zach, there are three.
You know what it is? Aaron Jones is Tristan Thompson. Or
Aaron
Kevin
Jones
Love.
is way better than Tristan Thompson.
No, but Kevin Love.
Okay.
Kevin Love wakes up in Cleveland and he just won a championship and everybody's gone.
He's John Travolta. Like, what's happening here?
And I can't get traded.
So, yeah, saying Tristan Thompson for Aaron Jones was wrong.
Because Tristan Thompson signed a $90 million contract, and he was the only guy with Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson was awful.
All right. So let's get to these three outcomes that we think can happen with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Here are the three. He plays for the Packers, he gets traded and plays for another team, or he simply retires. What do you think Aaron Rodgers will do this season? Play for the Packers, play for somebody else, retire. Those are the three options. But first, Zach, tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride, the 2021 Hyundai Palisade. It's their full-size SUV, third-row seating plus bucket seats. It has all the bells and whistles when it comes to technology, and that is the new era of car. You go in there, you've got Apple CarPlay. If you got an Android, it automatically hooks up. It is a great feature on the brand new 2021 Palisade. Payne Bone and his team, the owner of Wilson County Hyundai, will hook you up with an unbelievable deal. Just go in there and say, hey, look, I want to test drive a Palisade. I really want to look at their features. I heard about you guys on A to Z Sports. They'll hook you up with an outstanding deal. We've had many people, and we've been endorsing Wilson County Hyundai for some time now. Go to Wilson County Hyundai and get a good deal from that Hyundai dealership. Quick trip down I-40 exit 236. Austin and I are out there once a month at the dealership. We love that place. WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
A to Z Sports. Don't forget, go to the BetMGM app, download it, use that code ATOZ Sports when you sign up. Use that code ATOZ Sports, and with your first deposit and your first bet, it's a risk-free bet up to $600. It's a great way to start your bankroll at BetMGM. So download the BetMGM app today. The three options for Aaron Rodgers, Zach, are play for the Packers, play for another team, or retire. So let's read some comment. What do you think Aaron Rodgers will do? Rashid says probably sit out. Greg says play for the Packers. Aaron says he's playing and playing well again for the Packers. Lyman says he'll play for the Packers. Kane says he'll go to Minnesota, Favre 2.0. But in order for that to happen, Aaron Rodgers would first have to retire. Then he would have to go to Minnesota because there's no way in hell they trade him to Minnesota. Alex says play for the Packers. Billy says thinks he'll play. Kevin says play for the Packers. Travis says play for the Packers and dominate again. Deborah says retire. And then Dom says retires, then plays for someone else Kind of like what I was just talking about with that situation. Nate says 100% chance he marries a movie star. That's true. That happens. Jeff says someone else. Scott says play for the Packers. Matt Mann says play for the Packers. Tight Up Ohio says play for the Packers. Louis says he's headed to the Seahawks. So in Louis' world, Russell Wilson's playing for somebody else and Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers. I don't know. Elo says think he retires. Zach, what do you think Aaron Rodgers will do?
I think the chat is correct. And I didn't think this some weeks ago. I thought that it would play out maybe a little bit differently, but it didn't. I think he does play for the Packers. And I think he just takes his lumps, goes out there, performs. He doesn't get along with the front office, and that's different than not getting along with his teammates or coaches, right? The people that you work with day in and day out within a corporation, right? You may hate the guy that signs your checks, but you don't have to work with him and go into meetings with him and, actually play the game with him. And so I think Aaron Rodgers knows that he did that last year. And he can do that again. And then I think he takes a different approach next offseason to be on another team at the end of his career.
It's just, yeah. But here's the thing.
The retire thing is interesting. I did think about that, but I don't think he's going to go that route.
Bimbo says Aaron Rodgers is divergent. If Aaron Rodgers plays for the Packers, will he sign a new contract for the Packers?
No.
Or will he just play out the current situation he's on?
Yes. And the problem with that is he's so good, he's not getting the max amount of money that he wants, right? But the $90 million 2-year guarantee, he's doing that just to mess with the Packers. That's a robbery demand. That's what you see in the movies, saying, I want a jet right here to pick me up in the middle of downtown New York to fly me out of there. And it's just not realistic.
He better get some pizzas for his Packers teammates because he's holding those guys hostage right now is what he's doing.
Yes.
Because right now, here's what I know. Aaron Rodgers and his teammates get along very well. Aaron Rodgers' teammates also know that the Packers are nothing without Aaron Rodgers. And so who's going to want to be there if Aaron Rodgers moves on? If Aaron Rodgers moves on, that whole roster is going to be like, what the hell? Why? Why are we going to sit here in Green Bay and play with Jordan Love? They might like Jordan Love as a person, but he's nowhere near the quarterback that Aaron Rodgers is going to be.
Yeah,
everybody
but I think the Packers know that they have that backup. So the Texans don't. The Texans have nobody. The Packers at least have somebody that they handpicked.
But that's the guy who created this situation. Them handpicking Jordan Love has got them in this situation. And every single one of those guys under contract right now signed that contract to go win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
Things change.
Things change real quick. I think he plays for the Packers this year. That's my answer to the question. I think it settles down. He's not going to be happy, but he's going to play. The Packers are probably going to win the division again, although the Bears are better, which that'll be interesting to watch with Fields. And who knows what Jared Goff's going to do with the Lions and the Vikings and all that with Kirk Cousins. But I think the Packers will be good. They'll make the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there. And then we'll do this drama again in the next offseason. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. It's too close to the season. And we'll know pretty quick. Once training camp starts for the Packers, this whole thing will start to, I think, feel out because the real entertainment value is going to be those press conferences after training camp where Packers media is going to be asking Aaron Rodgers, and how does he respond to that?
Well, is he going to show up? Like, when does he show up to training camp? Because Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about $50,000 a day fines like Deshaun Watson does.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson does have a lot of legal fees coming.
I can't see Aaron Rodgers sitting out. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Aaron Rodgers is way more likely to hold out and just eat that $50,000 a day, and just because he's that spiteful.
And he has a year with the offense.
Yeah, he knows.
I think he's a brand new offensive coordinator. I think that's a little bit more difficult, but he doesn't.
Aaron Rodgers, no, it doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers doesn't care. He can show up on game days and be fine. That's where he's at in his career. He knows what he's doing.
I can't wait to see this play out.
It'd be same. All right, bad sales job Monday. I have 10 wins. Zach's up by 2. He's got 12 wins. We have 2 ties. Bad sales job on a Monday. We'll find out who wins this week. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about renterswarehouse.com, the professional landlords in the Nashville area. Simply head to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. There's so many different ways that you can use Renters Warehouse to your benefit, whether it's creating extra cash flows for you and your family, or renting out your own property for long-term equity and long-term wealth, or finding that right home to rent for you. Maybe it is a townhome, an apartment, a condo, a house, Middle Tennessee, anywhere. Renters Warehouse has you covered. They do all the hard work at renterswarehouse.com.
BetMGM, download the app today. Code ATOZ Sports for a risk-free $600 bet for our new users. Code ATOZ Sports. You can sign up, get geared up for football season as it's just around the corner.
Bad sales job on this Monday. I believe I give mine to Zach first this week because we went opposite last week. So basically, if you're new to bad sales job, Zach and I make the other sell a bad situation. Whoever does the best bad sales job, you guys vote on it in the chat, wins. I have 10 wins. Zach has 12. We have 2 ties.
I missed Friday. Did you blow your bubble?
No, because you weren't there. I talked in high voice. Nobody noticed it, but I went high voice reading some comments.
Will you bring bubble gum for once tomorrow?
Yes.
You will?
I will. I will
Will
go
you make
get
a promise to our viewers?
I'm going to. You know me, right? I do everything on this agenda. I will write down buy bubble gum.
Just do it for the chat. It's almost been 2 weeks.
I do everything on that list. It's the first time I've written buy bubble gum on the list. So there you go. All right. Here is my bad sales job to you, Zach.
I have a really good one. I hope you don't steal it.
I don't know how I would steal it, but why you think bagged tuna is better than any other fish you could possibly eat in this world. Bagged tuna, Zach, is the best fish you could ever eat. Traveling to whatever island you want to go to, whatever beach you go to, nobody can make something better than that bagged tuna.
All right, let me know.
Getting my clock ready. Ready when you are. 30 seconds.
The best part about bagged tuna is it is very, very healthy for you. And if you've ever been to the pouches, it's easy to make. It's quick. It's readily available. And it's cost effective. It's a good meal. When you see guys work out and try to get ripped, that's what they eat. They get bagged tuna. They meal plan. So when you talk about best, it is very healthy for you. And today's coronavirus ways where it's running rampant, you want to make sure you will have the best bill of health. Bagged tuna is delicious. Put a little bit of mayonnaise.
Done. Oh, you're about to sell mayonnaise there at the end?
Yeah, it's protein, baby.
Mayonnaise is protein? Mayonnaise is fat.
No, tuna.
Oh, yeah, but no, I said you were about to sell mayonnaise at the end of it, which you hate mayonnaise. All right. That is Zach's sales job. What is mine? We'll go ahead and Aaron says horrible, cost-effective, protein, bagged tuna. All right, Zach.
All right, Austin, you will have to sell the fine folks on why you could win a gold medal in gymnastics right now. That you could fly to Tokyo and win a gold medal in gymnastics, it's the Olympics, right now. Let me get my timer ready. I'm ready when you are. gold medal. You ready?
I can win gold in Tokyo right now because it's all about core strength, and Mandu has given me brilliant, great core strength, and I've got the right person in my corner. My wife did competitive gymnastics all through her childhood, and she can help coach me up to get me there, and Mandu has given me the strength to do it. I've got great flexibility. I have great balance. The balance beam, no problem. I'm pretty good at cartwheels anyway, so I can win a gold in Tokyo right now.
You didn't even use them all the time. I don't think you're winning gold, bud.
Okay, well, of course not. Like, of course I'm not going to win gold. Who won? Who won bad sales job? Get your votes in. Who won that bad sales job? Was it Zach and his bagged tuna, or me winning gold in Tokyo? So let's go ahead and get the votes in. Louis, I hesitate to add Louis.
Let's not start with Louis. He said the Seahawks today.
So G-Man is the first. Says so we're
Ed,
even. Ed, I missed Ed. Ed says Zach, so we're 1-1. Geez, the comments jumped on me. Greg, Zach, Juck, Zach. So there's 3-1. 2. Now I'm up by 1 with those 3 in a row. I'm up by 2 with those in a row. Nate says Mrs. Austin, Coach of the Year. Her name's not Austin. I believe I'm up 1 now with Nate. I'm up 2. I'm up 3. I'm up 2. I'm up 3. I'm up 4. Dean says I had to give it to Austin, but he's going to go with Zach. So I'm up 3. I'm up 4. I'm up 5. I'm up 6. I'm up 7. I'm up 8. I'm up 9. I'm up 10. I'm up 11, 12. My goodness, Zach. I am wiping the floor.
You 12 is built. This is mine. You miscounted that. So it's 11, but still.
Well, I clicked on the wrong thing. All right. I'm up 11.
I think you won this one.
I definitely won this one. I think that's the biggest. Is that the biggest? Maybe it's not the biggest blowout. There have been some really brilliant ones where you obviously won. So I won the gold medal today. So it's now.
I think you sold about going and competing. I don't think you sold winning gold.
Well,
again, that was my opinion. It doesn't matter.
You sold convenience. You didn't sell the best fish.
You said best. So I sold best.
Look,
and you didn't sell gold.
That's what bad sales job's all about. It's finding the right story to sell.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I won. 11 wins for me, 12 for Zach, 2 ties. I like this.
It's coming down to the nitty gritty.
And Ethan says, did I hear a different sales job than everyone else? Ethan voted for Zach. All right. So that's it for this Monday show.
That's the only time I don't agree with Ethan, but Ethan, we were on the same page.
There you go. I'm actually excited to watch gymnastics. I like watching the Simone Biles. She's a freak. She's insanely good. When you have like 4 different moves named after you in gymnastics, that means you're generational, ungodly good, unreal. Have you watched any Olympics?
I've watched a little bit just because I just came back in town, but man, I have some regret. I have a better question, and I won't use it because it has to do with the Olympics. But you know what I should have had you do?
Well, you can do it next week. We have bad sales job again a week from today. I mean,
okay,
I'll just save it.
I'll hold on to it. It's a lot more difficult than what you did.
That's fair. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Monday. Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Prime Time at 8 Central Time. The podcast network, the website. A lot of people have been going to the website over the last weekend or so. So thanks for checking that out. A to Z sportsnational.com. Training camp starts this week. We'll be out there. We'll see you later. Thanks.
Adios.